Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today to take a first look and check out the new Mercedes-AMG G63. So we're at the Meet Mercedes preview ahead of the 2018 Geneva Motorshow. There is a lot to see, but today's video, we're going to take a proper look around this car, something that I'm quite interested in myself. We'll also see the new C-Class 43, the C43 from AMG, and a number of others as well. So let's get started to take a good look at the new G63. This is, of course, the latest generation of the Mercedes G-Wagon, something that's been going strong since 1979. They've sold over 300,000 of them across 4 decades of production. The new model was launched with the G500 at the Detroit Auto Show, the NIAS show, just a couple of months ago, but now this is the first public appearance of the G63, the product, of course, from AMG. Up front in the engine, you have the 4-litre Biturbo V8 that we know from Affalterbach. It makes 585 horsepower, 850 newton meters of torque. We'll have a look at that in a moment, but it means 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour in the G-Wagon is just 4.5 seconds, 0.9 quicker than the older model. Now, many of these will, of course, be seen across the dunes of Dubai, but it also has become quite a popular status symbol as a city car almost. And this, well, it very much looks like the traditional G-Class did, but with some updates, with some new features and design touches that we'll head around now and experience a little bit. But this being the AMG, I should probably start right there. And one of the signature features is the grille around the front, the Panamericana style front grille. We saw it launched with the AMG GTR, and since then it's made its way into a number of their different models, a little historical tribute really to the race cars of old. An older design styling feature queue. So this car, permanent all-wheel drive of course, 40-60 split with various differential locks depending how you want to set it up. So 40 at the front, 60 at the rear, an awful lot of torque, 850 newton meters, plenty to go there, but still it very much has this distinct squared styling, the traditional G-Class design, the large wheel there on the rear as well. You can see new cues and general updates just by having slightly more rounded windows. Of course, hearing the door shut there, it has that very mechanical click and feel, something, well, that I particularly like. If I come in closer, just to press that, you get the clunks and the solid feel that you expect from a rugged off-roader. And you look at the interior, this is significantly updated and upgraded. I'll take a step into the driver's seat in a moment. We'll have a proper look at that and take it in more detail. Around the outside, obviously, you have the larger 22-inch AMG wheels. You have the side tailpipes. On the regular G500 model, you couldn't see the side pipes or the exhaust pipes. It just looks like you expect the G-Class to look, but with slightly more to it, slightly more updated technology, luxuriousness as well. And have a look back here, plenty of space. You've got this very square interior. The whole car is built on the ladder frame, newest, updated and stronger version of it, of course. Seats fold down, 60-40 split down there at the rear, but decent space in the back, obviously, by having the spare wheel on the boot door, I should say. So let us just come around quickly, open up the engine bay and have a quick little look at the engine that we've got. So somewhere lurking in here, there we go. We can pop that and come around and have a quick look under this aggressive, bulky hood on the front and see the engine from Affalterbach. So this is technically a very similar engine to that we see in various other Mercedes models, the E63S, the AMG GTR, that 4-litre twin-turbocharged biturbo V8 that they have up there. In this instance, as I said, making 585 PS, 579 brake horsepower, 850 newton meters of torque. So an awful lot of torque. That's mated to the 9-speed AMG speed shift automatic gearbox, optimized with various different settings and driving modes that we'll see when we step in as well. Just lower down this, probably need to give it quite a good close. This car's finished in the Magno satin black paintwork, but you still have signature features. For example, the lights on the front quarters, the new headlights, significantly updated, new design by being made round, but the front end still very much the G-Wagon as it was, V8 biturbo on the side. So not necessarily sure myself about having the red stripes around the rims. But let's just take a step in and have a proper look at the driver's zone and canopy and what we have here. And we're immediately greeted, opening the doors actually, by some lovely diamond quilting stitch, the red stitching, the red hints and highlights you can see inside the carbon fibre of the inlays. We have traditional Mercedes features, heated cooled seats, the nice seat controls, the Burmester sound system as well here, a nice door handle pull as well that you have there. If I step on up over the illuminated door sills, you can see the quilting of the seats, the black leather with the red accents and highlights, the AMG performance steering wheel with the red 12 o'clock centre stripe as well. In fact, the whole interior here looks incredibly nice, and that is before we even touch on those digital displays, the dashboard screens that you're looking at. Let me just see if we can wake them up. There we go, so you can look at this and you can change through a number of different settings and controls and adjust these depending how you want. For example, you have these little touch pads on the steering wheel, so the left side controls the main driver dashboard, the right side will control the central entertainment screen. You can literally go with this through a whole host of different settings and features and functionality on the car. So down here you can see your assistance settings. You've got things like lane guidance, so it knows when you're running over the side of the lanes. You've got this nice red carbon actually that continues all the way around the screens here. Over on the passenger side, the traditional grab handle that the G-Wagons have had of old. Just generally a really nice place to be. Look at these air vents. New styling we're seeing across Mercedes models. For example, the new CLS is styled like that. The differential locks that you have in the centre, traditional again from the G-Wagon, but 3 different diff locks for the different modes and settings depending how exactly you're driving and what environment you're in. But you also have the selector for your driving mode. So traditionally with Mercedes you'd have comfort. On the regular cars you'd go, I suppose, softer towards eco or harder towards sport, sport plus. The track cars then go towards race. This has an additional G mode set up for off-road driving, of course, in the G-Wagon. So you'll have the ability to go through that. You can go manual on the gearbox. You have various different suspension modes with AMG's air suspension ride control, as they call it, your traction control settings, exhaust, camera system, and of course low range for additional traction where required as well. So we've clearly got an awful lot of functionality. That wasn't hard enough to actually close the door. You have to give it a right thud and it shuts. And I like the way the lights blinked there on the dashboard in front of us. It's a very, very nice place to be for the G-Wagon. G-Wagons have traditionally been a bit more rugged, but now you have the interior and finish, and with the nice sunroof right above us as well, which makes it feel a little bit more open. So I have to say, in here, it feels remarkably luxurious for a proper off-roader, and it's very quiet knowing all of the noises outside. But let me just step into the back as well so we can take a quick glance back there. So we'll step down from here, not too high. You can obviously raise and lower the car depending on where you're driving and what you need. This car has increased ground clearance, wading depth, that side of things from before. The seat's actually quite far back at the front, so I might even have a little issue stepping in right here. No, it's not too bad. I can fit without too much of a squeeze, but generally they've actually improved quite a lot of the space back here in the G-Wagon versus the previous generation. You do feel like you're quite open. There's a lot of room because of how it's quite a large box almost inside. Anyway, that side of things works. Oh, we've got heated seats in the back as well, which is always quite nice. This car is set up, as you can see, with the back seat basically is a 3-seater bench, but with 2 more prominent seats to either side, but continuing the same level of finish through the inside. So why did I start this video by saying it's something that I'm quite interested in? Well, I've always thought the G63, it's perhaps quite a niche product, but they've been very popular in cities in Germany. I see them an awful lot in Frankfurt, and when you consider the practicality of the car versus its footprint, it's actually quite a small machine. It's not as large as you initially think it is in terms of width, size, length, etc. So it's quite a useful car to actually have and to drive, and you have that slightly raised seating position, and now you have that AMG Biturbo V8, which is just epic as well, so nothing to lose on that front. It's fairly on the expensive end, there's no question about that, and it's perhaps not the most fuel efficient in the world because it is quite a heavy car, although significantly lighter than the previous. But that's why I think it could be quite an interesting thing, so I'll hopefully get the opportunity to drive it at some point, and I'll let you know more about that when I get to do so. For now though, let's go check out the C43. Continuing their domination at just about every level of the market, we also now have the C43 from AMG. So the introduction of the 43 engines, the 3-litre Biturbo V6 to the Mercedes C-Class, as well of course as the the C63 that you'll be no doubt familiar with before now. So the 43 will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.7 seconds, has 390 horsepower from that engine, but it introduces this AMG characteristic, so a slightly sportier body kit, but also a slightly sportier driving style and experience in terms of the sound, in terms of the feel of the gearbox and the engagement with the car. Now, of course, we're looking at the saloon version of it here. You can see it's got the lip spoiler around to the rear, that 43 naming badge, and also those new oval-shaped exhaust pipes that we can see down at the back, twin on each side. Traditional to have that format on a Mercedes, but of course oval now on their new style. Just have a quick glimpse at the interior of this car while we're right here. You can see, again, sporty finish with the carbon fibre trim in this, the performance seats that this car has as well. So really bringing that AMG character to a slightly lower price point and accessibility to the market. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory and no-brainer to introduce that car alongside their others, and no doubt it will be very, very popular, as has been the E43, the SLC43, the GLC43, and so forth. Here we have a Maybach S560, but there's something new to show you, which is digital light by Mercedes. So this isn't yet available, but this is a technology for the future. Now this is all in some projectors inside the headlights, and you'll notice what comes up on the display in a second. So we're used to new systems now that can block out where you see an oncoming car, but what you've not seen is this ability almost to hide the reflections off street signs, to hide multiple objects all out of one, and that's through a projection inside the headlight of the car. So that's quite an interesting thing in terms of what it can be used for, and also for just showing fun little videos that have been popping up on the screen as well. In addition, the EQ line is also growing. The hybrid cars and electric vehicles from the Mercedes range, the S-Class, the E-Class, the C-Class, and the Smart for 2 EQ as well, the full electric Smart there at the end, as well as the F-Cell and a concept as well that we saw over at the Frankfurt Motor Show. So the lineup is growing, but this is a preview, great opportunity to see some new tech and what is coming up. But back over to the G63, the highlight for me at the moment at this preview event ahead of what else we're going to be able to see from Mercedes and from AMG at this motor show. Also just noticed the red accent around the door mirrors as well, complementing the interior, and those wheel highlights that we've seen in the stitching and the like too. But I think this is the correct route for this car to have taken, still very much being this distinct G-Class, the G63, but updating it, improving the interior, the luxuriousness, slightly updating the styling to make it distinct to those that know, but I suppose from the outside still being instantly recognizable for what it is, for being one of the most rugged, luxurious vehicles in this growing SUV category. You know, the G letter is so important to Mercedes. It now represents the first letter of all of their SUV models, the GLA, the GLC, the GLE, the GLS, but this is just the G, the AMG G63. So let me know what you think down below. Should I be considering one of these as maybe a German daily at some point in the future? Do you think this is the car that could work for that purpose? Perhaps it wouldn't necessarily see the off-roading usage by me that perhaps it's capable of. I think it could be an interesting option. Anyway, that's our first look at the new G63. I hope you've enjoyed the video, seeing what else is here on the Mercedes, or going to be on the Mercedes stand at the Geneva Motorshow. That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate your support, and be ready now for an awful lot more content to come from this year's motor show. That's it though. I'll see you very soon. Cheers.